playing with her and added viola and flute and harmonies to her songs. And then I started writing songs for Norbury and Finch, and we became Norbury and Finch. And we still play together like 25 years later. So she's my first musical connection. And then Actual Reality happened, and then the Misadventures happened, and that was a 7-woman feminist political musical comedy review, and that's where my acting came back out. I got to play a dyke Elvis with a song, Love Me Slender, love me fat, never let me go, for your love is where it's at, if I shrink or grow. So, I played Lady Chatterley in this, it was crazy, funny, lewd, funny. It was great, really good, satirical feminist comedy. And we toured around for about 7 years. And that was amazing. It was a really fun show. We moved a lot of people because our stuff was poignant. And the thing is, it's still really poignant today. Like, I think we need to get back together again. In fact, I'm going to suggest that to them. Most of them are in their 70s now, the women that were in that group. And they might not really want to perform, but I think the material actually needs to be out there because we are dealing with the same stuff, 25 years later that we were dealing with then, environmental disasters and relationship confusion and all these important things that we as artists have a duty to shake people up and inspire them and make them laugh and make them, reflect back at them.
So where you live now, this art scene was starting to sound like it was bustling, and you were making waves and strides, getting your stuff out there. And you said you played the viola,
yes,
and piano. Any other instruments you play?
Flute, penny whistle, melodeon, dulcimer, ukulele, vocal trumpet. It's not very good. It's not warmed up right now, but yeah, I play the vocal trumpet to some. Well, I got one of my songs on the Osbournes years ago for just the nose cornet solo.
Wow, how did that happen? Did you just sent it to them? Did they reach out to you?
No, actually, we had we placed our. We placed our CD, the Norbury and Finch CD called Tease for Two. We placed it with Pump Audio, which is a library, a music library. And I guess MTV was looking for stuff, and then I guess they found this song, and they found a couple of our songs. They placed a few of our songs, actually, and the Black Widow's Tango got placed as well, a few things. So it turns out that, just that little cornet solo is probably about... maybe 40 seconds or something. But it was my first big royalty check. I got $500 right off the bat for it, then another $700 later. Wow. And so it made me feel, wow, there's a world out there of making money from royalties.
Way to go.
Yeah.
It's always nice to hear.
Yeah.
Wow.
Really nice.
When you were writing your songs, you also were collaborating with other writers. Can that be sometimes a blessing and or a challenge?
That's a very, very, very good question. Quite honestly, I haven't really collaborated very much at all. What I've done is I tend to write my own songs, and then I will back up other people on their songs. I have not really spent much time. Judy and I actually, I think, only wrote one song together called Numbers, and she wrote the main part of it, and then I added a second syncopated harmony to it. And that's kind of like, it's kind of like the King Singers. It's kind of clever, syncopated song. That's about the only one. And then just recently when I was in Toronto, I got together with a woman I'd never met before, and we started collaborating on a song. So what the challenge was really, the challenge had always been that I would come up with an idea and I would feel everything. I could hear the whole song. I've got a symphonic kind of mind when it comes to music. I hear all the harmonies, I hear the whole thing, but I hadn't had the musicality to be able to express that, to be able to tell people what I need. I'm now at the point where I play everything myself and really and produce. I can produce music now by playing all the parts. But back then I couldn't, so I had to be it was really humbling. And at that point I was younger and more attached to my music. So when people played, who wanted to play the music that I'd written, they would, I just have to let go. Like, I think that's not the way I hear this chord. And so I'd have to try and figure out how to get them to play it. But I guess I was lucky. I played with some people that were pretty musically astute. So I'm pretty happy with what we got out there. But I've written hundreds of songs. I've written way too many songs, and I can't begin to perform them all. So I have this fantasy of just walking around with a sign on me saying, please don't talk to me, I'm in process, and kind of dressing up in some kind of mime costume or something, and just being this singing entity that can just really tap into these muses that have given me so much, and give them a voice, let them be heard, because really I think I'm the only one that's ever heard all the music that I've written.
All right. You have an interesting little tidbit here in your bio that on a fishing boat in Naden Harbor, something happened. What was it?
Well, actually, I had sort of, okay, I'll tell you what happened.
Well, first of all, if everybody doesn't know, where is Naden Harbor?
Naden Harbor. Naden Harbor is in the top of, is it Hecate Strait, between the top of the Queen Charlotte Islands, which is now called Haida Gwaii, and Alaska. So there's this body of water there. And so we went on a crab boat around from Queen Charlotte City, I think it was, from Masset up around the tip, and ended up at Naden Harbor, where it's just beautiful and magic. And Haida Gwaii is kind of known for its magic, and it's one of our most famous Canadian painters, Emily Carr, spent a lot of time there in Skidans, and that's where she had these profound experiences with the trees, and that's why she painted the way she did, because she felt and she saw the spirit in the trees. So there's a very incredible spiritual presence there. It's a very magical place, very profoundly, deeply mystical. And with the help of psilocybin mushrooms, it became even more mystical and more profound. So my friend and I, who I traveled up with from Victoria, Patty, her name is, we had picked some mushrooms, and we ate some mushrooms and went ashore this one day and walked around Naden Harbor. And, just were tripping out on the amazing, like in the middle of nowhere, just like there's nobody around. And we came upon this cabin that was sort of run down and tumbled down, and we went inside, and it was really, really weird. There was blood all over the walls and feathers, and it was just so creepy and weird. It looked like somebody had found some kind of a bird, and it just like whacked it against the walls. And we found out later that this cabin belonged to a very important hereditary chief, and I never really found out what happened, But besides that event, that was kind of creepy and weird. But I heard music in the boat. In the motor of the boat, the motor was going sort of a 12/8 kind of feel. And then I heard this, and as the motor was going along, it was very loud, I heard this music. I walked away. I left the waves behind. So I'm hearing all these trippy sounds and these overtones and and this. So all this music is coming out of the motor, and I'm creating this beautiful piece of music that became like this story of like the metaphor of my life. And it's a song I've never actually really sung to like audiences at all. But it's I think anyway, it's just this. It's sort of very special. It was one of the very first songs I ever wrote. Writing that song and being on those boats inspired me to realize that I was a songwriter. I was a singer, and I was channeling. I channeled other voices, other people, other times. And then that, the whole thing about what's going on now with people talking about shamanism, especially Caucasian people talking about shamanism, it doesn't sit right with me. I think misappropriation of spirituality, misappropriation of culture is happening a lot, but at the same time, I also truly believe that we are one and that we share this planet. We share an intention for honoring nature and mystery and spirituality. So I don't like to call myself anything. I don't like to lay claim to any kind of healing ability, but I guess I am a healer. People tell me that my music is healing, that my voice is healing, that when I touch them, I do body work, and my hands, they say I've got magic hands. So I call my work Magic Hands Massage. So I realized that, I have started tapping into all these different voices, all these different characters through my music. And in the last about 7 years, I came to realize that I have 3 specific women that reside in me, and they inhabit different parts of my being, and through them I find my voice. So there's the woman of action, the environmentalist, the conscious person who is making changes in the world through conscious awakening, and her name is Triva. And that's where the songs like Down Behind My House, We Are One, Wake Up, all these kind of songs about political action come from. And then there's Amanda, who inhabits my heart and my solar plexus and my creativity and sensuality. And that's where the jazzy songs and the songs about love and the songs about spirit and the more vulnerable songs come from. And then there's Sonia, who's playful and sexy and vivacious and powerful, and that's where songs like the Black Widow's Tango and all these Latin songs that I write come from. And they're just kind of, they're just the 3 main voices, but I really, I kind of feel like I'm inviting whatever sounds come into me. So I sing in all these different voices and languages and styles, and I sing like, I do Tuvan throat singing. I just, I just allow myself to go wherever my voice will take me, and it's beautiful and freeing and liberating, and I think it's been incredibly healing for me to just embody that.
That's your gift.
Yes.
You're channeling your. You almost sound. It seems like you're a conduit, really. Mm-hmm. And maybe we all are in many ways. We're given these gifts and talents or whatever, and it's our duty or our nature or our calling to be the conduit to bring it to whomever needs it at the time. It just dawned on me when you said that. That's how I'm interpreting this.
Well, I think it's true. I think we all are, and I think that sometimes we have too much, and sometimes we get trapped inside of it because we have, as artists, we have a lot of parameters around us, like, okay, you want to make money being an artist? Well, then